Now we're going to look at compression. Now compression is the act of taking down the louder parts of a piece of audio and putting them in line with the quieter bits. And then what it finally does is it makes everything louder. So what it should stop is these big spikes in between the audio. So you can see here, the singer has been quite quiet. And then up here, because the sound wave is bigger, they've got louder. Now, when this happens, you run the risk of not being able to hear the quiet bits, but then the loud bits causing your song to be distorted. Now, the way you know if your song is distorting is by looking up here on the playback bar. If the playback goes through the red bit towards 0 and then lights up these two little lights and they turn red, that means your song or your radio advert has been distorted. And we don't want that. You'll lose quite a lot of marks. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play this little bit of audio. You can see it starts off relatively quiet, gets a little bit louder, and then finally the singer is very loud. So let's listen to it.
Won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, Valerie?
Now, the way I recorded this, I actually made sure it did not go into this red bit. But if I was just to add a little bit of gain, you'll see quite quickly this will go red and it will sound a bit horrible.
Won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, Valerie?
Okay, so that actually distorts a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to use compressor to bring up this little bit of the song. And then hopefully this will all be really nice, uniform, so we can hear every bit of the song over the background music. Now, to do compression, you would usually do compression to the entire song. So you can either do this and highlight everything, or you can just double click in the grey bit and it will highlight everything for you. Now, compression is under Effect and Compressor. Remember, this goes in alphabetical order. So, compressor. Now, a compressor is quite a complex thing when you first look at it, but it's not that bad. What this line represents is how loud your music is getting. So here, it can start off quiet, it can get to the middle, and then if I use the compressor, instead of going straight up like this, it will taper off and it will only get a little bit louder. The threshold changes at what point does the compressor actually start to kick in. So I'm saying here, if it gets to minus 24 dB, that's when the compressor will kick in. I'm just going to put it to around minus 20. Don't copy my numbers because yours will be different to what mine sounds like, okay? Everyone's audio will be a different sound level. You've then got the noise floor. Just keep that around minus 40. That's just saying how much background noise there is. We haven't got a lot in our recordings. The ratio is probably your most important one. You can see here, if I set this to 1, 1, 1, that means that if it goes 1.1 decibels over the threshold, it will turn it down to 1 decibel. If I take this up to 2, this means every 2 decibels it goes over the threshold, it will turn it down to 1 decibel. And this goes all the way up to 10, where if it goes 10 decibels over, it will turn it down to 1. The most natural sounding compressors are between 2 and 3. So I'm just going to turn this one to 3 to 1. Your attack time is how fast does it actually kick in after it's gone over that threshold. You want to keep this pretty quick. So I don't know, 0.12 seconds. Okay, it's pretty much instantly. And your release time is how fast, when it goes back down below the threshold, does it release the threshold. Okay, how long does it take for it to go back to its normal volume? Keep this quick. 1 second's fine. Now, when I press OK, what we should see is all these quiet bits will jump up to around the volume of the loud bit. That's because what's happened is it's taken the loud bits down and then it's made everything louder. Let's just see that happen. So just keep your eye on the actual sound wave. And here we go. There we go. So that's happened now. And you can see what's gone from being very quiet to very loud has now had a squish in how far the distance is. So if I just press Ctrl Z, you can see what it was before and then what it is now. Let's actually listen to the difference. So remember, this is what it was.
Won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me.
Watch here.
Why don't you come on over, Valerie?
Okay, so that went from this bit being in the green, this was in the orange, and this was in the red. None of it clipped, which is good, but it went from green, orange, red. When I do this now and reapply the compression, this will probably be all orange to red. So let's listen to it.
Won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, Valerie?
Okay, so everything was louder. What that now lets you do is just take it down by a couple of decibels, and now it will be nowhere near that red bit, but everything will still be at a nice level volume. So if we just watch here again, and I'll play it.
Won't you come on over? Stop making a fool out of me. Why don't you come on over, Valerie?
Okay, so that is your compression done. Now, there is one problem with the compression, and that is because it makes all the quiet bits louder, we can start to hear things like breathing, just general sounds from the mouth that we don't want, and also the background music being played through the headphones. So our ones in our classroom, if you use our compression, may pick up things like the air conditioning unit, people whispering to each other. So what we need to do is to make sure that we don't have those is use noise removal. Now, there is another video on noise removal, and I think you should use it before you use your compressor. Just so we know what we're on about, let's just play this section here and go into this background noise, which should be silent, but has now been turned up.
Why don't you come on over, Valerie?
And we don't want any of this. Okay, so that is compression.